Now, of course, there's lots of different versions of this out there. There's rants on products you should use or shouldn't use, the good, the bad, some people's memories or experiences, as well as ones where they're ranting on looks that you shouldn't do or should do. But this one's more my earliest memories, and I'd like to tag quite a few people out there, which I've listed below. I'm doing one good earliest memory of makeup and one bad earliest memory. Of course, you can do a recent events, etc., whatever you want to do. But I'll get straight down to it. So my earliest memory of makeup, or my most positive memory, is really, of course, with my mother. I'm sure a lot of you have similar experiences with family members. Mine is when my mother was getting ready to go out. She'd get out her Max Factor Compact, obviously with the powder, the sponge, and she'd wet it down and apply her makeup. She'd only do this for special occasions or meeting up with friends or something like that. So it wasn't every day an experience. So when she actually did do it, she'd glam up in front of the mirror, she'd get out the hairspray and all that. To me, I had this sort of glamorous sort of image of getting really, really girly sort of thing. But it was the smell for me, most of all. Not just the look or I suppose the end result, but for me it was that smell of the Max Factor makeup, which is really weird because I can still smell it now. And even when I smell some of the displays, because I do not own any Max Factor compacts, I prefer some other brands, and I've only got Max Factor liners or mascaras, but it was that actual smell, and I really associate it with something glamorous, even though it's a drugstore lower end sort of brand, but something glamorous with getting ready, girly, very comforting as well, because of course it's associated with my mother, and unfortunately she has been passed away for 14 coming up to 15 years now, so it's also got that more specialness to it as well, that I've got that sort of memory with that one. Plus she loved Estee Lauder and Revlon lipsticks, so I also associate that with my mum, but particularly the Estee Lauder lipstick smells. For some reason I love that smell. Some people may not like the Max Factor Compact smell or the Estee Lauder lipstick smell, but I love those smells. To me that smells very clean, very comforting, really glamorous. I don't know, I mean, they're not expensive brands, although Estee Lauder in Australia is quite pricey. It's very pricey actually, but I just associate it with that, and I love it, which is quite funny. But I do own Estee Lauder lipsticks, and again, I love the smell. I still love the smell as much as I did when I was younger. But also Shiseido. I remember my mum used to have this, it was a black and gold bottle, and it was about that high, just a pump bottle. Of course, to me, being a real young kid, about 5, 6, 7 at the time, she had it for many years. To me, it was something glamorous and very aloof, because I wasn't allowed to touch it, wasn't allowed to play with it. For obvious reason, I just started spraying it willy-nilly. It was a mistifier, sorry, no, it was a body spray of some sort. And she kept it well after the actual original Shiseido product. I hope I'm saying that right, probably not, but product was used, so she'd put water and other fragrances and stuff in there, but she loved the bottle, and it was, so I said, black glass with the gold writing on it, and to me it was very exotic, being very young, and at that time I couldn't even pronounce the word, I couldn't even read the word, and I'm probably still not pronouncing it, but it was very, like I said, very exotic to me, such a glamorous sort of brand. I don't even own any Shiseido products. I think I've got some shadows, but that's about it. Again, a little bit pricier in Australia, but I still love the brand. Every time I see the brand in a department store, I'm like, oh wow, you know, a higher-end department store. Sort of look at it as some sort of mystical sort of brand. I mean, but that's just my spin. I still carry that sort of thing from when I was younger, of course, like the good experiences. I don't even know what happened to that bottle. I wish I did, because I'd love to actually, I keep it obviously for sentimental reasons, but because it was such a pretty bottle. But I've got that with a lot of different things that I keep, because I love the packaging, but I have that sort of glamorous association with it, but that's just me. Now unfortunately I'm going on to the bad one. So I mean, of course this doesn't have to be a bad memory that you've done or experienced. It can be something that you know of, or you remember happening to someone or whatever. It's just sort of sharing it around. But this one for me is something that I've done, unfortunately, but I was very young at the time. I suppose that's a saving grace, but I was about 4 years old, I'm not sure, could have been a bit younger, could have been a bit older. And most of it's very hazy. I hardly remember this at all. Mainly, I think it's been built from what I've been told. And again, very ashamed to say it, but like I said, I was very young, and again, it is beauty related. And some people may sympathise because this may have happened to you, or you've seen it happen, and it was just a really unfortunate circumstance. But I'll set the scene. So this is about 29 years ago, or what have you. This is before personal computers. This is before home internet use, before eBay. So basically before a lot of things were really, really accessible. Now, my mum went over to a friend's house, and she'd gotten back from a trip. Of course, you're very excited, you want to go on about your trip and where you've been and what you've seen, but of course, what you've bought and brought back. Now, apparently the friend had been a makeup lover as well, and I can completely sympathise with that, and of course it makes it almost as bad as when I tell you. But she got a lot of brands that she couldn't get in the country at the time, and of course she got them cheaper and probably duty-free, etc., etc., and she got quite a bit of it. Okay, I'm setting the scene here. So, and of course, my mum and her, want to have a natter, a little lady natter, girly natter, having their tea. My mum set me up somewhere close by. She can keep an eye on me, obviously, but also hear me. I'm giggling away, nattering, playing with my whatever I was, toys or whatever, somewhere in the hall or somewhere, I'm not quite sure, lounge or something, and they're having a little natter. My mum can still hear me, but somehow I sort of started to sort of wander off. Now, like I said, her friend had bought all this makeup. Of course, she's going to show my mum, so she's left it out in a place she can easily get accessible, but she sort of left it away from me. Makes sense? But she's put it in the bedroom, on her bed, with the door open. Now, wherever I was, this must have been close by. I've probably gone on my little merry way, just as you do as your kid, wandering around. I've gone into the bedroom. Okay, you're probably going, oh no, oh no. I've gone in there, seen things. Of course, I can't reach half of it, which is fine. She was very mindful of that. But somehow I've seen these things on the bed. And somehow I've got my little legs and managed to clamber on the bed. Of course, as I'm clambering, I'm pulling the doona. As you can imagine, or duvet or quilt cover, I've pulled some of this stuff onto the ground, or apparently I've been told. So some of it ended up on the ground. But not content with that, some of the other stuff's in a container, so somehow I've managed to get my little body up on the bed, seen the rest of the stuff, and apparently a lot of it was lipsticks and powders, a lot of loose powders as well, and this is well before child-proof stuff or whatever, but it was easy to get off anyway. And yes, indeed, I did get it off, and somehow I've managed to get all the powder all over me, all over the doona, all over the floor. I've managed to get the rest of the stuff down on, or smear it all over the bedspread, and my mum can still hear me, apparently. She told me after I was giggling and laughing, thinking I'm having a good time. I sounded a little bit further away, but I sounded like I was having a good laugh. I wasn't in trouble. Of course, she didn't realise what I was doing. And I didn't either, obviously. I thought it was probably putty or playthings or crayons or lipsticks. I treated like crowns. I've got it over me. I've put my little hands and squashed it all, as you can imagine, on the doona, gotten down on the floor, somehow continued with the stuff all over me, having a great old ball, over to the wall, and I've done this Picasso style mural on the wall with obviously my little makeup tans and everything. And yeah, so basically I've made a complete mess within a very short amount of time, and I'm so ashamed. I feel really, really bad. I mean, and if she's out there watching, because my mum eventually drifted apart for different reasons, and my mum, as I said, has been passed away for quite a few years now, so I don't even know where the lady is, and I'll give you some of my makeup, I'm so sorry, but it was just a silly thing to do. Of course, my mum's heard me go a little bit quiet because I'm sneering away, just in my own little world, thinking I'm doing wondrous things. She's come in, gasps, and seen what I've done, and apparently she told me that the friend came in, understandably, seen what I've done, seen what has happened to her poor room and the lovely makeup that can't be used anymore, and had a conniption fit. So my mum apparently had to take her out of the room to calm her down. She had a quiet moment, understandably. She probably wanted to kill me, but she didn't lay a hand on me, of course. But yeah, so she was just so, obviously afterwards, very devastated. And it took her a long time, I think, afterwards, apparently, for her to forgive me. But I can understand that. I can understand that completely. And it didn't obviously do anything mean to me or anything like that. And like I said, understandable. I'm a kid. I think it's just something to play with. I didn't understand it at the time. But it was a really misfortunate thing to have happened. So she couldn't replace any of it. Apparently, my mum helped her clean up the stuff, etc. But I didn't ruin the doing, apparently. clean up the rest of it and gave her some other stuff and all that, but still it was such a terrible thing to have happened to her. I mean, this isn't a life or death situation, but again, it's a beauty thing. I'm sure like a lot of you out there can go, oh no, and I'm still blushing over it. It's such a silly thing to have done, but I mean, I thought it was just crowns and good stuff. So that's my little bad first memory of makeup. So again, I'm looking forward to you guys' responses and that, so don't hate me over that. I feel really bad about that. I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing at the stupidity of it all. But again, guys, thanks for watching. Take care.